What's up, guys? Today I got a box. Let's get into it. Literally into the box. So if you've been watching any of my videos recently, you've noticed I've been throwing my favorite YouTuber's disc a ton, which is the Completely Corey Finish Line Disc Composite Torque. And I was talking to Corey about some other Finish Line discs that I might enjoy, and he sent me over a box of 4 rallies. It also came with an instruction manual. Let's see what we've got here. Throw them good. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that may not happen. We've got a first run, apparently very overstable rally, a couple forged rallies, and then a radiant rally. So really, we're just gonna get into the field and we're gonna throw these and see if they stack up to my dynasties, my grunts. I have a long-standing love of just straight workable with some slight fade control drivers. The Finish Line rally, if you didn't know, is listed as 8.5 -1.2, so fits the bill for that kind of disc that I love, and we're gonna see if these can kick anything out of the bag today. Start out with this first run. This one almost looks like a different disc than the others. The dome on this thing is insane. For comparison, I think the glow, the radiant, feels the best. That is what it looks like. So you can see held up to one another. I mean, they're not too dissimilar, but the dome on this first run is insane, which usually will make a disc more overstable. That's exactly what Corey sent in the instructions. First run rally, super beefy, and then I actually just noticed on the back of the disc, first run, super beefy. Corey's making sure I know what I'm getting into here. So we'll start out with this one with the first throw of the day, and we'll go from there. Put that on a little hyzer, and it just held it. That almost... kind of just a more mellow torque. It's a very torque-like flight though. These next two, the forged rallies, Corey has the purple one marked as least understable, and then nothing for the pink, but I'm gonna assume it's pretty similar. These look and feel pretty similar, just the color may make the purple one a little less understable, according to Corey. Oh, that's super nice. Just a slight flip, held that for a second, gets to the ground with a nice skip, just holds that hyzer angle. A little low, we're still warming the arm up. We'll hit the pink one. I assume this one's gonna fly pretty similar. Same slight hyzer release, little bit of flip up, super consistent fade. A little more stable than I was expecting, especially in comparison to like my super beat grunts or dynasties, but very nice flight. And then this radiant plastic, this glow feels incredible, so I'm super excited to see how this one flies. A little bit more flip and glide out of that one, but all in all, super consistent flight. Slight hyzer to a little bit of a flip up and then a fade back at the end. Very consistent, really liking it. So going to pick those up, those were all within like 10 feet of each other. Incredibly consistent, definitely a tick more stable than I was expecting, especially I think comparing it to my swirly S-Blend dynasty that it's extremely beat up that I'm throwing in this slot. These are more similar to like my Halo dynasty. Hit it hard, flat, and know it's gonna finish for me with just a little bit of flip up. I'm gonna see how these all handle a little bit of turn out of the hand, and then I'm super excited to see how they fly on a forehand. So let's get some anhyzer on these, see how well these fight back, and then we'll throw them on some hyzer flip forehand. Started again with this more overstable first run. Honestly, the difference wasn't that drastic as kind of what I was expecting and what Corey warned me about between this and the other ones. Maybe that's a me problem. Let's give it a little turn out of the hand though. Just a slight turnover. Man, that glide is insane. Really gentle movement from right to left. Not my farthest throws. That was in the same ballpark, a little longer. The first throws were right in that like 360-ish kind of downhill range. So still warming up. Again, these are my first throws of the day, but a little bit of turn on these forged rallies. Yeah, just barely an anhyzer release, and you can see it really fought out of that pretty, not quickly, but it moved back to flat and to the left. And I love when control drivers have that quality of, they almost fly more like a mid, where it's not knife hyzering out of a flight, not knifing over, just really gentle, controllable flights. Love these. Maybe a little bit more anhyzer on this one. Last couple were just a taste of anhyzer. Let's commit to it. Yeah, committed to that one. I'm expecting it to hold, yeah, pretty much to the ground. Not a great throw, but I did want to test how much angle you could put on it. So it's not like a torque. It's obviously not like a Firebird or anything where you can really rip over on it, expect it to come out. A little bit of anhyzer, it'll glide over and come back, but definitely has a limit. It will kind of get to the ground like that one if you put too much on it. Put another little gentle Annie on the radiant plastic. This one feels incredible to me. Didn't really commit to the angle, but you can see it did want to push over and now just gently coming back. Again, super similar to my Halo Dynasty, I think is what I'd compare it to. Actually, for comparison, I'll throw what I have in that slot right now. This is the Swirly S-Blend, super flat, more understable Dynasty, and the first run Halos have a good bit of dome in comparison, so they're more overstable, obviously. Hit a hyzer flip with the Swirly S. See, like that is much more understable in comparison. but it's still workable. And that flat disc feels really good, especially on a forehand. Hit the halo now. This I can just hit flat and know it's not gonna turn like that one. Just hold straight, very similar to a rally. We'll hold straight on that line, then come back. Yeah, so you can see no flip up at all out of that guy. That's a very, very similar flight to those rallies. So I think my comp in my mind would be Halo Dynasty for those. One more small note, very specific to me for the rally. It is listed as an 8-speed, and I truly think this is a true 8-speed, especially 7-speed is usually my grip break point, where 7-speed and below, I will use a normal 4-finger power grip, and then 9-speed and higher, I will go to a 3-finger power grip, mainly to give a little bit more range of motion in the wrist and to help get my nose down on release. This is like right in between that rim width, where I'm not sure if I'm more comfortable 4-finger or 3-finger. Been going back and forth on that, but just a quick note if anyone's weird like me. The other shot I absolutely love to throw at this kind of disc, other than just a flat to maybe slight Anheuser release backhand to really get the glide out of them, is a nice hyzer flip forehand. I don't have the most forehand power, but this kind of disc with its glide and workability really helps me to be confident hitting gaps. I know I can have a little bit of leeway with my wrist angle from hyzer to flat, and it'll still kind of just push straight and then finish for me every time. So without further ado, my last test with these, I'm gonna try these on that little hyzer flip to flat forehand, see how they react. The slightly more stable first run, I'm probably gonna push this a little bit more flat, maybe even Anheuser out of the hand, see how well it glides out of it. Nice and wobbly. It held over though. Not my best release, definitely a wrist roll, which contributed to that, but I am excited to see that even on like my worst case forehand release, that still did fight out, but not like too quickly. Again, not like a Firebird, it's still a neutral disc. So a little bit more of a hyzer flip with this one. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Hyzer release really holds that hyzer, maybe a slight flip into it, but it's super, super reliable. I know that it's not gonna burn over on me. Really just holds that angle. Try to get this one a little flatter. Yeah, nice and flat out of my hand. Really kind of pulled that over with my body to the left, but you can see that it just holds that angle, has that consistent finish at the end, but it still gets good distance and glide for me. Again, not a ton of forehand power here, but really just using that as a gap hitter, line shaper kind of shot. So there you go. If I had to put my stamp on it, what does the rally fly like? My best comparison, at least what's in my bag, is the Halo Dynasty from Infinite. Really great disc that you can hit flat as hard as you want to. You know you're going to get maybe a little flip, just a touch of right turn, but it will always consistently finish back to the left for you. I'm gonna hit these all one more time, a couple forehands, a couple backhands, and then Corey also sent me some other goodies. I did want to make this just a rally video, but we'll throw those just for fun. All right, I'll split these up evenly into 2 forehands and 2 backhands. Yeah, you can see the stability of that one especially. That'll get a big skip out of it. That is most like, I think, just a beat-in torque. I do think all these are pretty new as well, so I imagine they'll get a little flippier as time goes on. Hit another forehand, little hyzer flip with pink guy. Yes, that is exactly what I'm looking for out of that kind of disc. That flies so similar to my Halo Dynasty on forehand. All right, then we'll hit these 2 on backhand, purple guy, and this is low-key best feeling plastic out of the bunch, is this Radiant plastic. Feels incredible. Well, that one came out early, but just a kind of gentle flip through the whole flight, consistently back down on that hyzer angle. Very low, very bad, but even on a bad release, kind of bailed me out. All right, I really hope I throw this well. I love this one. Yeah, I really wanted to throw that hard to see what it do. Again, on a slight hyzer, kind of stock release. Really just flipped up and held straight. Good amount of glide, but yeah. Finish line rally, 8.5, -1.2, pretty true to the numbers. Again, my comparison, Halo Dynasty in my bag, but keep your eyes peeled for those. Really nice flyers. All right, and I also had Corey send me a couple other things. I had thrown my Finish Line Era recently, and it was much flippier than I remembered. Everybody always says the composite is so much more overstable, so I want to give that a try. If I threw my Era, my Forged Era, the first run, on a little bit of Annie, it would probably roll, so we're going to see what the composite does. Again, this composite plastic just feels so good. Yeah, that would roll with the Forged, and that is a great flight out of the composite. Really nice kind of overstable option for that 10-speed control driver. All right, then I also had him send me, Pipan sent him some grunts. If you know me, you know I love the grunt. I have a new Cherry Baker's blend. These should fly pretty similar, maybe a little longer, a little less overstable than a Rally, I would think, but let's see how these fly. Oh, wow. So the Cherry I have is very flippy. On that angle, it would have flipped up and turned. I guess that's really because it's pretty beat in. They say that the Cherry's more overstable. I always thought it was kind of the opposite, but that was pretty beefy. Let's just hit a flat release with the Baker's blend. And that is a flight that I love. Again, kind of Thunderbirdy, Halo Dynasty. It is a faster rim, so it went a little bit farther than the rallies, but I mean, the rally did exactly that. So I now have, I was fighting over the grunt and the Dynasty in my bag. Now I'm fighting over the grunt, the Dynasty, and the rally in my bag. I got some thinking to do. Thanks, Corey, I guess, for an existential crisis of my bag at the end of the year when I need to film it in the bag. See you guys in the next one.